They always said it was just a prayer, a sequence of memorized words, mechanically repeated by generations. But what if I told you that behind those words lies a code, a portal? What if the Our Father wasn't just a prayer, but a forgotten key, buried under layers of symbolism, resonance, and intention? You might never pray the same way again. Many walk through life believing that spirituality is a ladder to heaven, when in truth, it's a mirror turned inward. Prayer wasn't created to convince a distant deity, but to activate something within you. And the Our Father, the Our Father, was crafted to touch hidden layers of the human mind and spirit. But who would dare reveal this? Who would risk deciphering what religion has institutionalized and tradition has silenced? Before we dive deeper into this journey, I invite you to subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell. Here, with every video, the goal is simple: to deconstruct the obvious, plunge into the invisible, and rekindle your inner spark. If something here resonates with you, share it. Not for me, but for those who haven't yet awakened. Most people recite this prayer every day without realizing the spiritual engineering behind it. The Our Father is far more than beautiful words. It's a configuration, a mystical code that, when uttered with awareness, can shift the body's vibration, align energy fields, and open pathways between the visible and the invisible. It's no coincidence that it begins with the invocation of a divine paternal presence, followed by an alignment of will, time, and reality. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done. But what will are we talking about? What kingdom? If you look closely, you'll notice that the text of this prayer contains a sequence of commands that, in initiatory schools, would be considered activation mantras. Each phrase touches an aspect of the psyche, each word a frequency. In Hermetic traditions, for instance, the word holds creative power. The word is a seed and also fire. When you repeat something with intention, you create, you give form, you shape. That's why reciting this prayer with faith and awareness is different from merely chanting it like a spiritual robot. The difference is like lighting a candle versus igniting a bonfire. Now stop and reflect. When was the last time you felt something while praying? When was the last time your words vibrated like waves in the reality around you? Have you ever noticed how certain prayers bring peace, others give you chills, and some even bring tears? It's not by chance. It's energy being moved, portals being activated. In some esoteric schools, particularly in Christian Kabbalah and Gnostic traditions, it's believed that the Our Father was directly inspired by the teachings of ancient masters who understood the mechanics of the soul. Jesus, in teaching this prayer, wasn't creating something new, but decoding ancestral wisdom in an accessible way. That's why it has endured for centuries, because it's simple on the surface, but as deep as an abyss. In the line, "Thy kingdom come," we're talking about bringing a higher reality into mundane existence, a state of consciousness. The kingdom isn't a place, it's a level of perception. It's when you begin to see beyond appearances, beyond the ego, beyond matter. And right after comes the command, "Thy will be done." But is this will truly that of an external being, separate from us? What if the divine will is, in fact, your own deepest will, the one you've forgotten? What if what we call God is merely a mirror of our most awake, wisest, most loving part? Have you ever considered that perhaps there is no separation? That when you say, "Thy will be done," you're actually reminding your subconscious of the purpose your soul chose before you were even born. But if there's a hidden secret, why has it been concealed for so long? Why does a prayer recited by billions over centuries hold such a precise structure, so similar to mystical invocation formulas? Have you ever wondered why we repeat words without truly thinking about what they're doing inside us? It's as if the prayer were a key, but few realize they're standing before a door. And that door, Perhaps it's not external, perhaps it never was, because when we say thy kingdom come, we're not asking for something to come from outside in, but recognizing that something sacred is already pulsing within us. The kingdom doesn't come. It emerges from where? From the depths, from what's hidden beneath the ego, control, and illusion. Ancient schools spoke of this in different words. In Kabbalah, for example, the concept of Malkuth, the kingdom, is the final reflection of the tree of life, the point where the spiritual touches the physical world. In Hindu mythology, it's the root chakra, Muladhara, where the serpent of consciousness rests before ascending. It's as if all these traditions were saying the same thing. There is a portal within you, but it only opens when you align your will with a greater will. And here's the trap. Because this greater will isn't that of an external being pulling puppet strings, but the living intelligence of the universe itself, manifesting through your existence. Thy will be done. It's not submission. It's synchrony. It's an agreement between what you desire and what your soul already knows. But are you listening to your soul or just obeying the commands of a conditioned mind? What if the prayer were a call to reconnect with what you've always been but forgot? Think carefully. The verb of the prayer isn't to beg, it's not to plead, it's to manifest. Thy kingdom come. It's almost a command, an activation. Portals don't open with desperation. They open with presence, with words, with awareness. And when we say, thy will be done, we're telling the universe, I'm ready to remember who I am. Now tell me, are you? But there's something even deeper hidden between the lines of this prayer. When we say, on earth as it is in heaven, we're referring to a universal correspondence. This isn't just a pretty phrase, it's a hermetic principle, described as above, so below. Have you ever noticed how this line carries ancient wisdom? It reminds us that everything happening within us reverberates in the external world, and everything that occurs outside is a reflection of inner layers. In other words, the prayer is a bridge, a spiritual technology that unites the two worlds. It's not just a way to communicate with the divine, it's a way to remember that you are part of it. In the Kabbalistic tradition, the path of return to the source involves passing through 10 Sephirot, stages or dimensions of divine consciousness. Each represents an aspect of divine manifestation that also exists within us. You start at Malkuth, the kingdom, and ascend to Keter, the crown, the point of pure unity with the All. The Our Father prayer is that ascent. Each phrase, a step. Each word, a mirror. Each verse, a password. And there's one phrase that may be the most underestimated of all. Forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. This line is an emotional and energetic key. As long as you hold on to grudges, resentment, hatred, you vibrate in separation, and no spiritual door opens where there is separation. You don't enter a temple with mud on your feet. That's why. Forgiveness is a practice of elevation. It's not about the other, it's about you. Have you ever thought about how many blessings you've blocked by holding on to what should have already been transmuted? Forgiveness doesn't erase the past, it clears the channel between you and the sacred. And there's something even more unsettling. When we say, lead us not into temptation, we're acknowledging that falling is a constant possibility. But it's not about punishment. The temptation here is the illusion of separation, the temptation to forget that you are a soul living a human experience, and not a body trying to have fleeting moments of spirituality. The true temptation isn't pleasure, it's forgetting. And when we ask, deliver us from evil, we're not begging for salvation. We're declaring, I want to remember. I want to free myself from the evil that arises from fear, ignorance, guilt, and the absence of love. Evil is everything that distances us from ourselves. Perhaps the Our Father was never a plea, but a mantra of remembrance, a map, a code that, when repeated with awareness, reactivates inner portals, and that's why it became universal. Not because it was imposed, but because it resonates with timeless truths. Truths that touch something all souls recognize, even those that have been lost for a long time. Now I ask you, sincerely, what do you feel when you pray? Is it faith or fear? Are you speaking to the divine or to your guilt? Because a prayer is only alive when it comes from an awakened heart. Only then does it move invisible forces. Only then does it open the right portals. There's a quiet but deeply symbolic detail that often goes unnoticed. Jesus didn't teach this prayer as an ordinary prayer. He offered it as a model of alignment, not for us to repeat mechanically, but to live. The Our Father prayer is like an activation code. Each word carries a vibration, each verse, a frequency that resonates with dormant parts of our consciousness. In esoteric traditions, it's believed that words take form in the subtle plane, and when spoken with intention and presence, they create geometric shapes that connect to the universe's archetypal structures. Have you ever heard of the creative word? The idea that sound shapes reality? Well, the Our Father is a millennia-old sonic sequence, a hidden mantra disguised as a Christian prayer. That's why it has been recited for over 2,000 years, because its structure touches layers that ordinary language cannot reach. Now imagine, what if, by saying this prayer with true presence, you weren't just communicating with God, but reconfiguring yourself from within, realigning your emotions, your desires, your actions, as if each line were a command, a reminder of who you truly are. There's a reason so many mystical traditions refer to the heart as a temple. True prayer isn't spoken by the mouth, it's felt by the soul. Have you ever cried during a prayer? Felt that shiver up your spine, as if something beyond you responded? That's it. That's the sign that the portal has opened, that communication has been restored, that, for a moment, you've returned home. And that's the final secret. Prayer isn't a request, it's a return to the origin, a return to remembrance, a return to the state of unity you've always carried within you. And perhaps that's why so many masters, from Buddha to Hermes Trismegistus, from Krishna to Jesus, have pointed, each in their own way, to this same truth. Everything you seek already lives within you, and the key to accessing it lies in the silence between one word and the next, in the space between one thought and the next, in the pause between heaven and earth. And now that you know this, how will you pray next time? Will you repeat the words, or will you pierce through the veils with them? Perhaps from today onward, you'll never say the Our Father the same way again, because now you understand that by praying it with awareness, you awaken the temple hidden in your own chest. And there, between the word and silence, between sound and symbol, between the invisible and the eternal, the portals open. And if you've made it this far, it's because something inside you has already begun to remember. If you felt that call, if something in you stirred during this conversation, then leave the word portal in the comments, so you may know I'm one of those who are awakening. And of course, if this content moved you, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with those who need to hear this. This isn't just a video, it's a seed.